All right. Yo, what's up? Welcome back. Another episode, Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. It's your boy here, T, with what's your nickname today?
Mr. Miyagi, we'll go with that
Mr.
today.
Miyagi. Can we call you Mr. Woken from the Dead? Rise
Yes.
of the Dead?
I'm like a zombie. I'm like Jesus Christ after the third day or something like that.
Yeah. So
I pulled that big ass stone, moved it, got out of there.
So just in case you probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but Mike threw a Mike's Barbecue Extravaganza, and he died halfway through the party, and he didn't even, it was his party, and he was gone the whole time. But anyways, that's life. This is fantasy football. So we're just going to kind of go over some things. I know we've been slacking on it, but just busy trying to get this out for you guys.
Hard drives crashing, doesn't help.
Computers crashing and whatnot. So we're just going to go over some news, just what's going around the league, and just kind of keep you up to date. As we get closer to draft season, we're going to, really dial in on, certain players we like, maybe certain players we're fading for their draft price. Certain players, I always personally, I have a do not draft list. I know Anthony's not like that. He always tries to look for the value in the draft. So, but, coming forward in these next couple days, couple weeks, as we get close to drafting, we're definitely going to be more dialed into it. But so let's just jump in some of the news that's going around the league right here. Let's just start out with AB, because that's kind of your boy.
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of your boy.
There's a lot of drama with AB.
Yeah, just so he burned his feet. I said that feet one time. He burned his feet.
Yeah.
In a cryotherapy chamber, and he's pretty much got like frostbite.
Yeah, I think that's almost better because he's been doing. They come in like scalpel it, and I was watching Hard Knocks a little bit. They were talking about it, but I mean, you have that going on. Then you have this whole helmet situation. And then if you look at it's funny, if you look at Antonio Brown's like most recent tweets, you can tell it's not him. It's definitely not. He definitely got a PR guy. I got to pull up what exactly he said, but it just, if you look at his previous tweets and then look at what he said in this last one, it said something like,
yeah, look it up. You were telling me about it, and as soon as you read the first sentence, I was like, that was for sure not Antonio Brown. So
he's got someone looking out for him right now.
Yeah. So the whole helmet thing, I honestly agree with the whole helmet situation. Like he wants to keep using his helmet that he's used for his entire career. Pretty much, but the NFL just passed a rule, I guess, with the whole CTE concussion protocol thing, that once a helmet goes past a 10-year mark, they have to be retested, and they either like decline it or they'll be like, okay, this helmet's okay. He wants to keep using that helmet. The NFL said no, this helmet is unacceptable. So he was kind of getting upset about that. So I think he's going to use a helmet that they're telling him to use, but on the flip side, he told the NFL, like, okay, well, if I get a concussion or if I get hurt because you're making me use a helmet I don't want, I'm going to sue you. So he's kind of covering his ass.
Yeah, this is the tweet he said. He said, while I disagree with the arbitrator's decision, I'm working on getting back to full health and looking forward to rejoining my teammates on the field. I'm excited about this season. Appreciate all the concerns about my feet. Always a fight. Hashtag always a fight. Hashtag represent. Hashtag it's bigger than me. Dude, that is not. Those are not AB's words, dude. This dude speaks in Ebonics every single time he's talking on Twitter. So
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, so he definitely got like a PR guy that because he probably is getting so much negative feedback. And plus with the Hard Knocks thing going on, I'm sure they were like, hey, dude, chill out.
Yeah. So with that being said, they're saying his feet will be okay. He should be ready to go in the next couple of weeks. He's just kind of, he can't even really walk. He can't cut. He can't, do all the things that makes him AB. So with that being said, he's kind of fallen a little bit down the draft boards. I was already kind of low on him because of the whole Derek Carr situation. I mean, where do you feel comfortable drafting him? Let's just say like a full point PPR, just, off topic.
If he falls to the third round, I would feel pretty obligated to grab him. I don't think he will fall that far. But I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. I think in home leagues, like we always say, home leagues, it's anything can happen. And but yeah, third round probably I'd be okay. Second round, it's like I just think there's so many good receivers you would pass by.
Yeah.
Especially in PPR format, there's like a ton of guys that are in that all the way in that second round. I'd take Mike Evans over AB.
Yeah, I got
Mike
Evans.
Evans.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's guys like that. So he's still kind of in the same boat.
Just off the top of my head, Keenan Allen or AB? Full point PPR.
I'd probably take AB.
I think I'd go Keenan Allen.
Really? Just because, the reason for the Keenan Allen is just because I think we've talked about it is because we're both kind of like high on Mike Williams.
Yeah.
And I plan on trying to snag him later.
Yeah.
So if if I've stuck with Keenan Allen, it's going to make me
wanna
not
get
want to
him.
get Mike Williams. So that's probably why I would take
Yeah, you
AB.
don't want to get two receivers from the same team
Yeah.
right there. The only thing I think what AB is here is like once I feel like this is going to happen. Once he gets out there and he starts running the routes, and especially because it's Hard Knocks, he's going to go out there. He's going to have a couple like good practices, or he's going to get hyped up on the show, and his draft price is going to jump back up. I feel like.
Yeah,
So,
I think
but yeah,
so too.
I think if he falls to like that third round, maybe the back end of the second, you kind of got to take him for the name value, even trade equity. Like just. Maybe draft him just because someone eventually
value.
you could trade him. And
So
get
he
a better
wouldn't be
player.
on your do not draft list.
He wouldn't be on my draft list. It's just the price is going to be right for him.
Right.
For instance, in one of the leagues we just did the drawing. I got the first pick, so I've kind of been doing some mock drafts. And when it comes back around, the end of the second round, start of the third, he's been there a couple times, and I've kind of taken a couple mock drafts where I've taken a shot on him there.
Do you like it?
Just to see what it is. It's up and down. So, but that's why you got a mock draft. So
Dude, I do it so much. It's just annoying the mock drafts when people leave.
Yeah.
But I've already trust me. Yeah. We've been out here.
All right. So another player right here that's just kind of I was high on. Actually, he was my number one quarterback. And before all this nonsense happened, but it was Andrew Luck. So he's got the foot injury, the calf injury, whatever, the ankle injury. So I read something the other day. It's like a small bone in his ankle injury. They're saying he's probably most likely not going to play the preseason, but he should be ready for week one.
Don't they say if it's a high ankle sprain, it's not as bad? If it's a lower one, it's like close to your foot, it's worse.
No, high ankle sprain is the worst as far as I'm concerned.
Pardon.
Yeah, the high ankle sprain is the worst one. So especially like during the season, if like a running back or receiver gets a high ankle sprain, that's pretty bad.
Right.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts here? I mean, after seeing this, obviously Mahomes kind of jumps up to number one again. And then I think you got guys like Deshaun, Aaron Rodgers. I might even have Baker now ahead of Luck. I'm a little worried because
I think, didn't he start the end of the year or the beginning of the year last year with some type of injury?
Shoulder.
Yeah. I mean, dude, the shoulder is probably the scariest. The shoulder is probably the scariest thing a quarterback could go into. And, I mean, if you had Andrew Luck last year, you were hyped.
For sure, yeah.
I mean, for me, I'm still good. I mean, I've watched Big Ben have his ankle like fucking falling off.
Yeah.
And he still makes it out there and does well. So,
yeah.
It doesn't affect me as much. I'm not gonna like jump the gun as early as I might have before. It worries me a little bit, but not enough to not want to draft him at all.
Yeah, I think he's going somewhere in the 5th or 6th round. I mean, are you taking a shot on him there or
possibly? I mean, see how the cards fall, I guess. But I mean, I'm still okay with him in the 5th or 6th round.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not going to jump the gun. I mean, I've done drafts where I've taken fucking Aaron Rodgers way too early. You know what I mean? And Andrew Luck did fucking Aaron Rodgers type of season last year.
Yeah. I don't know. For me personally, it's like there's a lot of good quarterbacks, so I might have to wait. If he falls because people are getting nervous, and it's just a value of like, hey, the upside of Andrew Luck just outweighs, the positional players there, and there's like no one really. I already got a couple running backs, I already got a couple receivers, and it's like now I'm just drafting like my 3rd, 4th running back, receiver, whatnot. And the upside for Andrew Luck is just through the roof. Like maybe I'll take a shot on him there, but I don't know if I'm going to be reaching for him like I did. Because at first, like I said, he was my number one. I think they added a lot of weapons. I mean, you got Ebron, getting Jack Doyle back, drafted Paris Campbell, signed Devin Funches. You still got T.Y. Hilton. I mean, Marlon Mack and Naheem Hines are good at the back. I mean, the top 5 offensive line. I think
they
he
got a
went
lot of good things going for it.
6.
The offensive line is a big one too.
Yeah, 6 or 7 games where he didn't get sacked.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess if that's the case, maybe they
give Deshaun Watson that fucking O-line. I'll draft him in the 4th round.
Yeah, so we just got to monitor. I mean, as we get closer, everything week to week, day to day, I would say things change.
Yeah,
honestly.
definitely.
So another ankle injury here. So we got my boy Kenyon Drake. He was spotted in a walking boot. Didn't practice. The reports out of that so far are just saying he's for sure going to miss the rest of preseason, but he should be ready for week one. Just me and my personal opinion here. I know we kind of already touched on it, me and Anthony. I think this is going to be a full-blown running back by committee. Like, I do like Drake. I think he's super good. I think he's explosive, and this is kind of like
you don't think Kalen Ballage will take over?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a similar situation. Just off the top of my head, I can think of a couple years ago, like when Thielen broke out. Like, I was telling a lot of people back then, like, hey, Diggs and Thielen are pretty much the same guy, but like you're drafting Diggs in like the 4th round, and back then, like I think I got Thielen in like the 10th round.
Yeah, Thielen was way down.
And it was like, hey, they're literally the same player. They're going to get the same usage, but like one guy's getting drafted way later. This is
Yeah.
literally, I'm having deja vu. It's like Drake. I mean, this is probably going to change because of the ankle injury. And Balaj is probably going to see a ton of run with the ones. And even in preseason, he's probably going to make some plays. But Drake was going in like the 6th round in PPR and half PPR. And Balaj was going in like the 9th, 10th round in like PPR and half PPR. So me personally, I would have just waited and drafted Balaj because I'm feeling I'm getting literally the same exact guy just 4 or 5 rounds later.
Right.
But I think this is going to change going forward. I mean, even with that being said, if I'm going to draft one of these running backs, I'm drafting Balaj at the later. And,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely. I mean, to be honest, like, sorry, but I'm not really that excited about like the Dolphins backfield.
no, I don't blame you.
Yeah, but you know, if I'm gonna take someone for sure, I'm gonna go Balaj on there, especially with this ankle injury.
Yeah. You don't want it to reoccur and whatnot. So,
No,
I mean,
for
both
sure
of these, one thing I can say about both these guys is, I mean, if both of these guys could get like a full workload, I think they could be like a top 15, top 12 back just because they are explosive. Like Drake is like a home run hitter, and even Balaj, they're like home run hitters. You know, you give them the ball, boom, boom, and then boom, 60-yard run and whatnot. So,
Yeah.
I guess I just monitor it with, like I said, things change day to day. We'll just keep you up to on it. But I think the value out of those two is for sure Kenyon Balaj. So,
Is it Kenyon Balaj? I thought it was Caleb. I
not
don't know.
Kenyon, yeah, Kayla, my bad.
Yeah, you combine their
Drake,
names.
yeah. Oh, bro, they fucking
They're right there.
Dragon Ball Z fucking. Oh, look at that. Sleeper.
We're literally-
Pod alert. Kalen Balaj has looked like a monster today with Kenyon Drake
As we're talking
Saline.
about it.
Size, speed, and power. That is it right there. Hey,
Yep.
sleeper bot. If you don't got it, download it.
Go get
it's
it.
free and literally just on the spot. How weird is that? We're talking
No, that's
about
wild.
it.
Well,
and
that's like that.
instantly-
That's like the you know when they say like Alexa's listening to you, or your iPhone's listening to you.
Oh, for sure.
It feels like that, but I mean, obviously,
That's
it's
it.
not that. But
But that just shows you right there. He says he's looking like a monster. He's big and shit.
Crazy.
So yeah, he's gonna be a guy I definitely target in like the later rounds. You know, I feel like he'll creep up to like the 7th round ish, 8th round maybe, depending on what happens. You know, and he's a guy I'm for sure. I'll still take a shot on him. You know what I'm saying? Upsides there. Just some other news going around the league. So Golden Tate, he got suspended 4 games for. I don't want to say it was PEDs because the whole situation with him is he was taking some like testosterone booster, like or fertility drug because he was trying to have a baby.
Right.
And I think even I was reading something like he told the NFL like, hey, I'm taking these drugs to like
Right,
to have
so-
a baby
right.
to fertility. So he failed. So he was like, hey, like I already told you I was
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
this stuff, but he failed. But anyways, the suspension was upheld. So Golden Tate gonna miss the first 4 games of the year. Even before this, I wasn't hyped on Tate. I mean,
Me
what do you
neither.
think?
yeah, I mean, you got 3rd and down syndrome throwing you the ball.
3rd and down
You
syndrome.
can't really be that excited unless you're Odell Beckham Jr. But like even then, Odell's had kind of rough years the past 2 years. He's had all right,
Yeah.
but yeah. I mean, I wasn't really hyped on him before. If I'm drafting anybody on New York's offense, it's Saquon. But besides that,
Yeah. But what do you feel about Evan Ingram?
oh yeah, actually, you know what? You're right. I am hyped on Evan Ingram this year. Just because there's not, to me, it's like there's nothing left, and you know, like you can check down to Evan Ingram, but he's a monster. Like you've seen him in person.
Yeah.
He's fucking towers
fucking
over
massive.
you. Yeah, just
It's a big ass.
so. I mean, yeah, I'm hyped on Evan Ingram still. So probably Evan Ingram or Saquon. Thank you. Reminded me of that.
dude. Yeah. No, I mean, like you said, there's no more Odell. Sterling Shepard, he's got a broken thumb, so he's out for a couple weeks. I mean, even when he comes back, I mean, your thumb is pretty important when you're trying to catch a
Yeah.
fucking football being thrown at you. Corey Coleman is another receiver there. He tore his ACL. He's out for the year. Golden Tate suspended for the first 4 games. You got a guy named Cody Latimer there. He's all right, but I don't
Yeah,
think
he's
he's going to
okay.
get
Yeah.
a ton of volume. So I think, honestly, for these
He-
first 4 games, I think Evan Ingram is going to be a fucking monster.
Cody Latimer, I served him once.
At Marquis.
He tipped me.
didn't
Yeah, he
say?
tipped me like $300.
Hey, there you go.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
But am I drafting him? No. Love you, dude, but no.
So I was just kind of thinking outside the box. I'm thinking like, okay, so Evan Ingram, he's already going like top 5 tight end right here. And I was just thinking like, okay, maybe you draft him, you know, in the 4th, 5th round. And, you know, those first 4 games, he just explodes because there's no Tate. Sterling Shepard's kind of banged up still. And then maybe you parlay that and you trade him for a stud receiver, running back in a sense. I'm always thinking about trades.
Right.
You know me, dog. I am a fucking trade.
Dude, listen,
guy.
Tyler will draft his team and be setting up trades right after drafting his team. He'll be looking at the board and being like, "Hey man, like if I give you this, like bro, the season hasn't even started yet, dude."
I'm just always thinking about trade equity. Sometimes you don't draft a player just because you're like, oh, like I want him.
You draft the value.
Team. I draft the value because maybe I know you want him, you know, and I know like okay, like you have a player that I wanted, but I like the draft position I was in, I wasn't able to get him. So now maybe I can parlay something. I'll give you a 2-for-1. And that way I can get my guy down the road. But I think Evan Ingram's going to be a monster this year. I think top 5 for sure. Top 3 upside. I mean, I'm not totally sold on Ertz this year. I think there's a ton of regression coming back. You got different tight end there. Dallas Goedert, second year. Deshaun Jackson's back. Alshon Jeffrey's finally healthy for the first couple games. He should play a full season, hopefully. I mean, that guy actually can't stay healthy, so you never know. But there's just a lot more weapons around there for Carson Wentz to throw to. I think he had 156 Ertz targets last year.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking there's some possibility that Evan Ingram could jump into the top 3, potentially,
Yeah, I was almost thinking that was going to be last year, but
yeah.
No.
So that's just some news right there. So some other things that today I woke up, like I said, sleeper bot. It's always going off. It said Odell's going to miss the second preseason game. He's got a minor hip issue. So I guess just be aware of it. Just kind of watch it. I think it's preseason. There's no reason for these guys to even be playing out there. You could throw Odell out there week 1 and he's going to still do what Odell does.
Right.
But how do you feel about Odell right now? I think he's going in like the back of the first, kind of like top of the second.
Yeah.
I mean, are you touching him, or what's your thought process on Odell right here?
I've been kind of staying away, to be honest. I've had Odell in the past, and I try not to think like that, but I feel like Odell was kind of the only guy for a while in New York.
Yeah.
And I feel like now he goes to Cleveland, and there's so much going on in that offense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got Njoku, you got what's his name?
Jarvis
Landry. They're making a lot of moves. I think Baker's like a pretty decent quarterback, and I think he's just going to get better, but I don't know if he's going to just have that immediate connection with Odell.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
I mean, I do like Odell, and he's kind of one of those guys where if he falls to me, then I might have no
would you take him
choice.
2-12, second round at back end?
Oh, yeah. If he fell all the way back there, I'm for sure taking him. But he's going right now at the
it's just too early.
I'd rather start of the second. But there's some guys there he's going around like Julio Jones. I'm taking Julio Jones over him.
Me too.
I'm taking Juju over him. Tyreek Hill it's kind of up in the air between him and him. Even maybe like a Kelsey, bro.
I would take Tyreek. I would take Tyreek Hill. If you look at that, I just look at the quarterbacks. I'd rather have Pat Mahomes throwing me my number 1 receiver the ball than Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. The only thing that worries me with the Browns offense is I do like Odell. Obviously, he's one of the best receivers in the league. But Anthony even kind of touched on this in a past episode we did. The Browns are going to be good. They got a good defense. They got a good offense, good offensive line. They're going to be a good team. So the only thing I'm worried about is what is there going to be some games where they're just dominating. They're just smacking the other team, and maybe Baker only has to throw the ball 20, 25 times instead of 35, 40 times.
Right.
Maybe that's a Chubb game where he's just running the ball and
they're just running into
maybe
the
Odell
ground.
only gets you 3 for 42, and that's it. Because they've just been,
they just don't need him.
Yeah. Chubb has like a 2-3 touchdown game.
Yeah, how many of the times when Odell's getting you all these crazy fantasy points is it because the game script is just they're chasing because New York low-key not a good team really, and they just have to throw it up to him and he has to make plays. Actually, Odell doesn't even because you've seen Eli Manning the past couple of years. He just throws it 10 yards in front of him, but it's just Odell making plays afterwards.
For sure, yeah.
So I don't think Odell's going to need to do any of that.
Yeah, like I said, if he falls to me in the middle of the second, I'm taking him over guys like Thielen. Honestly, I'm taking him over Keenan Allen. But when you get to a Mike Evans or a Juju Smith-Schuster, I'm torn. I'm torn with Tino. I think Juju has a big year. I think Mike Evans has a big year. And, Odell obviously could have a humongous year, but I don't know. I guess when you get to that point, it's kind of preference. Who do you want on
Right.
the team and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You're
and
just nitpicking, I guess. At that point.
at that point, yeah. Yeah, I would say, yeah. How did we even get on Odell?
He hip injury.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, even with that too, it's like
Yeah.
he's been injury prone the past couple of years too. I drafted him like 2 years ago when he got injured like the second week or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. I mean, yeah, rookie year, he missed half of the
It's
rookie
hard
year.
to say. It's hard to tell that a player's injury prone because I was listening to a podcast with I can't remember, it was an ex running back. I can't remember who it was, and he was talking about, he's like, dude, everybody's injured. He's like, dude, I had a broken wrist and I fucking hit it until I got signed, and then I was like, hey, broke my wrist. Like, but he was just talking about it on the podcast. He's like, everybody acts like you're injury prone. Everybody has been injured. Everybody gets injured. It's a fucking rough sport. Yeah, so it's like hard to say, oh yeah, Odell's injury prone, but you know, he's been injury prone to a point where he sits out games.
Yeah.
You got, you know, linemen that will just go out, cast up, and just line back
bro.
up.
You ever see people that the clubs on their
Yeah,
wrist?
that's what they did.
Bro, they just be bashing people, dog, with it.
Yeah, that's actually happened in Hard Knocks. The lineman that they drafted, he broke his hand because he went to go punch the ball out.
Yeah.
And he hit the guy's helmet, and he said his hand was like a noodle.
Jesus.
But yeah, so I don't know.
So we'll see. Yeah.
We'll see what's going on.
All right. So there's some other news. Just kind of touch on some stuff quick. So there's been some reports that Dak Prescott from the Cowboys had turned down a $30 million offer per year because he wants to get $40 million per year. That's insane.
There's a lot. I mean, Des Bryant went on Twitter and said, my boy Dak deserves his money. Don't at me. So, you know, there's a lot of people supporting. One thing that is cool is that I see like all the support from other players. Like, yeah, dude, get your money. Like, kind of like standing up and being like, no, dude, this is some bullshit. We're all like putting our bodies on the line, and like we want our money that we deserve.
Yeah.
As much as like it's like, wow, like you really need that extra 10 mil, dude. I mean, your longevity in the sport it's hard
For sure.
So it's like I kind of don't blame him. I don't know who's gonna budge on that because you got Zeke too.
Amari Cooper needs to get paid.
Yeah, like they got a lot going on. I don't know exactly like how much cap space and all that stuff they have room to like sign all these guys, but I mean, last year they wanted Amari Cooper so bad on their team. It's like, okay, you got him. Are you gonna do what you need to do to keep him, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you don't go and trade a first-round pick for a player for 1 year.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think the Amari Cooper deal gets done for sure. He'll probably be between the $15 to $20 million range. I can't imagine him getting paid more than Michael Thomas, like $20 million per year. But he'll probably be in that, you know, 16, 17, $18 million a year range. I mean, if I'm Dak Prescott, it's like, hey, and I'm a big Dak guy. I think he's good. I think he's good value later in the drafts too. I mean, here's a guy, he's finished, I think I was looking the other day, he finished as QB 10, QB 6, and QB 11 the last 3 years. So he's pretty much finished as a top 12 quarterback all 3 years. You know, 6 rushing touchdowns every single year. So, you know, offers the rushing upside. Good offensive line, just good offense in general. So, you know, I think he's a good late round sleeper, especially, like I said, I like to do double quarterbacks. You know, I'll play the matchups and whatnot.
Right.
But, I mean, you got to think, if you want to keep all these players together for the next 4 years to come and whatnot, like, you can't be like, hey, pay me all the money. And then while Zeke's over here trying to get paid, you know, like, you need Zeke on the team, you know. And there's got to be a point where, you know, even like just an example, like the Golden State Warriors, like one of the guys, he signed a 4-year, $100 million contract. I know that sounds like a lot of money, but like he could have signed like a 5-year, $130 million contract,
Right.
but he didn't. And they asked him why. And he's like, because I want to play with these guys, you know, like we're a championship caliber team. And what's a couple extra million a year, you know, when I could keep this group together. So, I mean, you got to think these guys have been talking to each other like, hey, we're going to keep this together. We're going to form this like trio, Dak, Amari, and Zeke. You know, everyone's got to, you know, budge a little bit like, hey, I want my money. You get your money. You get your money
Right.
in a sense. So with that being said, the whole Zeke thing, he's still holding out. I was watching something the other day and some guy just saying he get inside reports. He says he thinks the deal gets done by the 3rd preseason game. I mean, what's your thought process? You think they pay him or? I think you got to.
Yeah, who, Dak or Zeke?
Zeke.
Oh, Zeke. Yeah, I think we were talking about what's his name back in the day, and they paid him. Then they won the Super Bowl. It's like
Emmitt Smith. Yeah.
So it's like, you know, I mean, history repeats itself, right?
Yeah. I mean, here's a guy like he's led the league in yards.
I mean, he's a
rushing
monster.
per
Zeke
game.
is just
Every
a
year he's
fucking
been in
monster.
the league.
You watch him play, and you don't understand how he can get through these, like, just forces his way through these holes. There's so much different type of running back play, but yeah, I mean, I think they'll pay him.
Yeah.
How much is he's asking for? A good
I think
amount,
he
though.
wanted like 20 million or something like that, but I think Gurley gets paid like around 15 million, I think, a year.
Yeah.
I think he wants to get like Gurley type money, so
Right.
he'll probably end up getting paid more than Gurley. I think he gets paid something like 16, 17 million a year. I mean, who knows? I think he ends up getting paid. It could just be a thing of like the guaranteed money. Like, how much money am I getting up front? Like, okay, yeah, like I want 17 million a year. Okay, yeah, we'll give you 17 million, but we're only going to give you 17 million up front right now.
Right.
But he might be like, no, I want 30 million up front. You know, I might want 40 million up front. So something like that could be like the logistics.
Yeah, it's like
of
how much Zeke is going to actually budge.
Yeah.
He seems egotistical a little bit, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, but I mean, if he signs, he'd be my number one guy. I mean, like I said, I was saying the other day, like I got the first pick in one of the drafts we do, and I've been, torn between him and Kamara actually. But then I was just looking at the total touches, and it was like 380 for Zeke, and then 275 for Kamara. And I think Kamara's volume will go up with no Ingram. You got Latavius Murray there, but I think he gets over 300 touches. But I mean, 380, over 100 more touches for Zeke last year. That's just
crazy.
That's just wild, yeah. And when you get in the goal line, it's Zeke.
Yeah, every time.
Kamara, there's gonna be times where Latavius Murray comes in. He's a big back. He's like 6'4" or something like that. He's gonna snake those goal line carries.
Right.
So, hey Zeke, do us a favor. Why don't you fucking sign?
Yeah,
make it easy for us. You idiot.
There you go. I most of my drafts are in like 2 weeks, so please.
Hey, make it
Before
happen.
then.
Hey Jerry Jones, make it happen.
Make it fucking happen, dude.
All right, for sure. Yeah, so it's just kind of some news going around the league. Just try to stay up to date.
Definitely.
You got anything else you want to say?
Everything is good in my neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Mike's going to try and do sober September. That's a couple weeks away, but I'm just setting him up for failure already.
Yeah, dude. And I'm staring at these beers.
This is the beer helmet. Huh?
The camera shut off.
Oh, nice.
But we'll just wrap it up then. No point in turning the camera on when we're about to wrap it up.
For sure, yeah.
Thank you for listening. It's been the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. A little mini podcast, a little bit shorter than we normally do, but we just want to keep you updated. Follow us leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We're actually going to do a giveaway pretty soon, so it's going to require something like that. Peep our Instagram if you're interested in that. Winning a Marlon Mack signed jersey.
We got a Michael Thomas signed jersey as well.
And we'll be giving that away pretty soon too. But yeah, go check us out on the podcast app. Please rate and review us. It really helps us out. Go on our YouTube channel, check it out. Subscribe to us. You can see our pretty little faces. Check out our Twitter where we just talk some smack. It's at Average Bros FFP. All these links are going to be down below, okay? So if you're curious, like, oh, where's this? Just go down in the description, and there it is. All that stuff. It takes time to put it there, so if you want to use that, hell yeah. Anything else you want to add on?
Nope. Just stay tuned. Keep listening. We're going to start breaking down these players.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Deuces.
Bye.